Shalom, Israel. This is Heaven, and we're going to be teaching about how to separate the truth from falsehood and how to know what is right from what is wrong. So, we're going to answer these questions. Question number one: did anybody in the times of Noah, Moses, Solomon, David, Jeremiah, Ezekiel mention Jesus or pray to him or ask for anything in Jesus' name? And was there any one of them, including their believing followers, did they fight over Jesus? The answer is no. So if there wasn't fighting between them in this matter before, it's because there was no confusion in this matter before. So through these prophets' mouths, Jesus was never mentioned, prayed to, or asked anything in his name. Joshua 1:5 and 1:17. Only may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. According as we hearken unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee. Only the Lord thy God be with thee as he was with Moses. Question number two: did Moses talk to Yahweh and God, or did Moses talk straight to God? In the beliefs of children of Israel today, we are divided up into sections, following our own religions within religions. Some of us believe that Jesus is not God, but he is the Son of God. Some believe that he is not just the Son of God, he is God. And some of us believe he is a false God and not a Savior, period. And these are 3 points where us Hebrew Israelites are disagreeing and not on the same page. God said the days will come to pass as your punishment in Deuteronomy 28:64. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So we have which neither thou nor thy fathers have known highlighted. Why? Because if you fell into this when you were cursed and being punished by God, then you are not supposed to serve any God whom thy fathers before you have never known. It says you and your fathers, meaning both together. And which of your fathers before you worship Jesus? They did not praise, mention, or worship Jesus or ask and do anything in his name. So people from around the world now have learned to practice and teach about whom? Yahweh, one whom our forefathers never knew. We, as our forefathers of old, did not have graven images, but everywhere you look, there is graven images of this false God. They are doing what God said, do not do, even in the Ten Commandments. Join not gods with him, and no graven images. So we have a section of us who believe this false tale that if you do not accept Jesus as God, then you are wasting your time obeying the laws and commandments and doing anything right. Because on that day, you are going to say, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. And then God will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity, because you did not believe that Jesus was God. This verse says, and then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work transgression of the law. I never knew you. So the lawless ones who believe Jesus saved them from the laws of God, this is what Jesus already told you beforehand. Be careful that no one misleads you, returned Jesus. For many men will come in my name saying, I am Christ, and they will mislead many. So on that day, they will be saying, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? And they will be told, depart from me. I never knew you, because the only one name you are supposed to be prophesying is in God's alone. And I didn't say it. Your book you claim to believe it. Psalms 118, verse 26. Blessed is he who comes in the name of God, which means the Most High alone, your Creator. Because you did in a name besides God, a God whom your forefathers never known, not even Jesus, because as he warned you, many will come saying they are Jesus. The true Jesus of Nazareth would never tell you to prophesy in his name or worship him. Worship the Lord your God and serve him only is the real Jesus' words. And he's not talking in a third sense. He is saying, he is saying about his own self, worship me, but worship the Lord your God. I mean, I'm talking about myself. No, he is talking about his and your creator, to worship him only. So your religion that you believe in, that you claim you believe in, is a monotheistic religion, believing in one God alone. That's what that means. But you are serving multiple gods. You made it into a polytheistic religion. Let's read the definitions to prove this narrative. Polytheistic definition. Relating to or characterized by belief in or worship of more than one God. And then we have monotheistic definition. Relating to or characterized by the belief that there is only one God. How is there only one God and you serving when you believe in God having a son? Meaning you are believing in multiple gods, which you believe is not wrong. You believe somehow it's just God split into two or God split into three. Let's go to this verse. John 1. In the beginning was the Word, which is Jesus, and you, with this false verse, are placing Jesus before God, which is sinful and blasphemy against his commandments. Thou shalt have no gods before me. And the Word was with God. Blasphemy and transgression again when God said, do not make any gods to be alongside me. Do we need to read alongside definition? Surely we do. Alongside definition. Close to the side of, next to, at the same time as or in coexistence with. And the Word was God. God clearly said, no God before or beside him. He is the only one who creates. He is the creator and lives forever without a beginning or end. So how could he die on the cross? How can God have a death? And why would he give himself a death for something if he wanted to, as God? He could grant redemption for your sins. Why would he, as God, have to put himself through suffering and misery when he wouldn't have to? John 1:18. No one has ever seen God, but the one and only Son, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with the Father, has made him known. Let me ask you another question. Going off topic a little, are you in a close relationship with yourself? Does that sound a bit unusual when I say that to you? And if someone from outside came to you and were to tell you that they can only see themselves and they are having a close relationship with themselves, would you think something is wrong? Let's read the definition of relationship to get a better understanding, people. The way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected are the state of being connected. So if it takes two or more for a relationship, then how is God having a close relationship with his own self if he is just one? Are Jesus and God two separate entities then? And as it says, no one has ever seen God but Jesus. Then if you seen Jesus, how did you not see God if he is God? And if Moses supposedly, in the Old Testament, spoke face to face with God, then if Jesus only seen God, then how did Moses too? Something is contradicting. The only people who receive true guidance, direction, and guidance are those who are truly seeking for guidance and humbling themselves to hear and do their own studying like God told you to do. So 1 Chronicles 16 verse 26. For all the gods of the nations are idols. In the Bible, idolatry is the worship of something or someone other than God. It can also mean giving more value to something created than to the creator. So you are worshiping an idol. If you have an extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone, as this is an idolatry meaning, more than the Creator, then you have fallen into idolatry. Here is how you are getting confused. There is a part of the Bible that agrees with the Old Testament, and there is a part of the Bible that does not agree with the Old Testament. So Chronicles is the Old Testament, but it agrees with the New Testament, which is in 1 Corinthians 12:2, and it states, Ye know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led, worshipping Greek gods and into Greek mythology is what you were into, and the Gentiles don't know God. No message from God was delivered to the Gentiles, it was always delivered to the Hebrews. Let's look at two from the Old and New Testament that matches, starting with the Old Testament, Deuteronomy 6:13. Fear the Lord your God, serve him only, and take your oaths in his name. This is a message from the time of Moses, and this is the message now coming from Jesus in Luke 4:8. Jesus answered, It is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Both are said to serve God only. Do we have to read only meaning now? Yes, we do. Obviously, no one knows what only means. Only definition, and no one or nothing more besides. Solely or exclusively. One more time. Only meaning, and no one or nothing more besides, solely or exclusively. So we should not be mentioning Yahweh Shai as a God when we know that He is not the Creator, and that this is a monotheistic religion we are in. Why are you worshiping, mentioning Him, asking anything in His name when we know what God said? Fear me and worship and serve me only. Then there shouldn't be any worship of Christ whatsoever. Jesus said, Think not that I have come to change the law. He came to fulfill it, and his words matches what the Torah says. 1 Samuel 12:21 through 25. And turn ye not aside, for then should ye go after vain things, which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are vain. Let me read it again more clearer. And turn ye not aside, for then should ye go after vain things which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are vain. So if you turn aside from the worship of God alone, you have fallen into vanity, useless things that cannot profit nor deliver you. Here is Jesus himself agreeing. Mark 7, verse 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandments of God, ye hold the tradition of men. So if you're not worshiping, serving the Lord your God, and you worshiping Jesus, then you are worshiping him in vain, as said Jesus himself. Teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men. God didn't command for you to worship anyone before or alongside him, then it's nothing but following the commandments and traditions of men. Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And again, Jesus says, Mark 12:29. And Jesus answered him, The first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord of God is one Lord. Ours, my God and your God, ours. So it is clear, no prophet has ever mentioned Jesus or asked of anything in his name, nor was there disputes amongst them over Jesus. God never changes. He said there is no God before or alongside him. Fear him and worship him only. Then every time you choose to reject God's very own words, then what are you saying, that God is a liar? Even when Jesus himself testified to these words, there was no confusion until you added Jesus as a God instead of acknowledging who he is, which is just a prophet sent from the Most High to fulfill the law. Not to change it, but to fulfill it. And so God never changes, and his law still applies today. And the Gentiles wanted to strip the law from you, so you can be deceived and burned in the fire. What is the harm when you don't know what's the truth and what to believe? But do you? Isn't it clear? Isn't your soul self-conflicting inside? Isn't when no matter how many times the Trinity is explained it to you, it could never make any sense? Ezekiel 3:17, 19. Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the house of Israel. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you shall give them warning from me. If I say to the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him no warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, in order to save his life, that wicked person shall die for his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand. And I believe I was given the inspiration and a warning from God to warn and remind all of you that He alone is great. He doesn't need anyone beside Him or any partners as the creator and ruler of everything that exists. He is powerful and His knowledge is vast beyond your mind to perceive that He doesn't need anyone and nobody can be as He. Not Jesus. He is just creation along the rest of you who think you are little gods, except Jesus, who knew he was just a servant fulfilling the law God sent down. Just a man sent with a mission from God. For idolatry and all sinful nature, God's punishment is going to be terrible and unimaginable. You can't take the fire for eternity. You can't handle these little punishments God gives you on this earth. Watch when God gives you your full punishment, because when you get there, it's going to be full punishment. What you got here is just a taste of His punishment. Watch when He truly punishes you in full. Then there will be no doubt that there is only God alone, because Jesus can't save you and don't want to. On that day, you're going to figure out that you were an enemy to the Most High and His servant Jesus, who told you to worship God alone, and who is going to reject your worship because He knows worship only belongs to God alone. This is heaven.